He stole money from my coach. What else he do? He just a piece. Just a piece. Crawford didn't do enough. I'm in.
Hey guys, what's good? Triple J Boxing. Now, as you just heard right there, Ryan Garcia, he's been going after Spence a lot, and he says he's gonna do Errol Spence worse than what Crawford did to him. And my opinion on it, guys, I tend to think that that might actually be the case. And I know a lot of you guys will be like, "Whoa, you're crazy. That's Crawford. How is Ryan gonna do any worse than, like, how is Ryan gonna beat up Errol Spence worse than Terrence Crawford did?" And now let me elaborate on that. I don't mean necessarily it's gonna be a worse beating, but I do believe that the way Ryan Garcia could beat Errol Spence worse, in the sense that he could knock him out cold and that he would put him down for good. He wouldn't be getting up off the canvas in that sense. Because I don't think that he will put on more of a sustained beating for round after round more than Terrence would. I wouldn't see that. I could see, though, that the left hook could land and maybe Spence won't even get up. And the reason why, so some of you guys will think I'm crazy for saying this, and some people think Ryan's crazy for believing that he could beat Spence. And normally, before the Haney fight, I never would have thought about this fight, to be honest. But to be honest, guys, I thought that after that Terrence Crawford fight, I thought that whoever Spence comes back against, if it's a tough fight, obviously if it's a bum, Spence can still easily win. But I'm saying if Errol Spence is going to come back against a top-level fighter, I believe that he's going to have problems. And I don't know if he can ever be the same. And so it's not just about Ryan here. It's more about Errol Spence after that loss to Crawford. Each fight that Spence is having lately, it seems like he's becoming more damaged. Like more damaged goods each time he steps in the ring. He's less of himself, which it makes sense because he's been through a lot. And I believe whoever gets Crawford is gonna cash in and gonna beat, or whoever gets Errol Spence next is gonna cash in and beat him. They're gonna be. I don't think he'll take anything away from Crawford's win, but I do believe if Spence fights somebody like a Tim Tszyu or who else, Virgil Ortiz, like when he moves up to 154, I believe those guys have a strong chance of probably knocking out Errol Spence. That's my opinion on it. But the fact that Ryan Garcia comes into this picture, and I never would have thought about this until what Ryan Garcia did to Devin Haney, it's kind of not that far off to believe that he could compete with Spence at this stage of Spence's career, being that the damaged goods he is. Because if this was the Spence before the car crash, I would 100% pick Spence. But it's not. And Ryan Garcia is getting better with every fight, and he's in his prime. He's not damaged goods. Even though he got knocked out by Gervonta Davis by a body shot, the fight was stopped around 6 or 7, so it's not like he took a total beating, right? It was more of a one punch. Like, he did get dropped with a headshot counter. It was more like a flash knockdown, more of a off balance shot. It was just perfect timing by Gervonta. So it's not like Ryan Garcia was severely hurt by that shot. The body shot, he was obviously severely hurt. But what I'm trying to say is Ryan Garcia isn't damaged goods. In the one loss he had, it's not like he took a beating, really. It was more of just one shot. And he was, obviously, we know the rehydration clause he was put on him that fight. So he was severely dehydrated. But if you look at Spence's career, it's on the down, obviously. But okay, this is what I'm getting to, guys. The reason why I'm gonna pick Ryan Garcia to beat Errol Spence if the fight does happen, I would actually go as far as putting money down on Ryan Garcia. That's how much I believe that Ryan Garcia could beat Errol Spence. Now, could Errol Spence prove me wrong? He could, but from what I've seen, I don't see him really like coming back from all that he's come back from. I just feel like I don't even think it's mental really with Errol Spence. I just think physically he's damaged. It's not mentally really. It's more physical. But who knows? Maybe that his first loss was to Crawford, and he's never taken a beating like that. So maybe mentally he might even be damaged now. But I think physically is what I'm more talking about, guys. He hasn't been the same since the car crash. I know he came back. He beat Danny Garcia after the car crash, right? But if you look at the way, it's not like he's been invincible his career until the car crash either. Like, what do you call it? Like, each fight, he's shown vulnerability. I think the Kell Brook fight, he got buzzed up pretty bad. I think Kell Brook had a couple. He was doing pretty good, Kell Brook, and Kell Brook's no slouch though. But what I'm saying is I think I do remember Errol Spence getting hurt in the Kell Brook fight, and then that was before the car crash, I think too. And then after the car crash, sure, he beat Danny Garcia. It was a good performance. But I mean, I think I can't really recall that fight that well, but I thought maybe he could have done a bit more. Maybe if pre-car crash, maybe he would have done a bit more to Danny. I don't know. But to be honest, guys, what I'm seeing is each fight, Errol Spence is getting worse. And I think what really showed something was that Ugas fight. The Ugas fight, he got hurt badly, and I know he's gonna blame the mouthpiece, or he's gonna blame the ref, because that's why he got hit with that huge right hand and got hurt by Ugas. But I think it's more than just the mouthpiece, dropping the mouthpiece. If you go back to that fight, guys. He got severely staggered by Ugas. Just gonna turn off my heater here, guys. Yeah, so that's I just feel like each fight he's becoming more damaged, and it started with the car crash. Then he had the torn retina going into the Manny Pacquiao fight. He had to pull out of the Manny Pacquiao fight, and then the Ugas situation where, sure, he won the fight, but he got severely hurt by a guy that's not even a puncher. And then that's when I knew Crawford was going to knock him out. And now, what's the next step? That he's not even going to get up, right? Because even in the Crawford fight, he was still on his feet. The ref waved it off. But there's going to be a point where he just can't even get up off the canvas, maybe. He's just going to be knocked out. And Ryan Garcia is definitely the perfect guy to do that, because his left hook is dangerous. It's deadly. And he's a big guy now. Like, he was... See, this seems kind of far-fetched a year ago because he was fighting at 135, Ryan Garcia, but he's definitely almost a full-fledged welterweight at this point. And that's where Spence's last fight was at. Now, if this fight was going to happen, maybe it would have to happen at 154. And I do have to throw in this one thing into the mix, guys, is that Errol Spence, he's talked about it. It's been obviously well known that he's been struggling to make 147 for quite a while now. It's been talked about for years now, I think. And I think that he hired a special nutritionist, and it did make it easier for him in the Ugas fight. But so you would assume he would be probably healthier and stronger at 154. So you have to throw that into the mix. You can't. obviously you can't count out Spence completely. And he definitely would still be the favorite in the fight against Ryan Garcia. But I'm saying, though, would I be surprised if Ryan Garcia won that fight? I would not be surprised, guys. I'm telling you right now, from everything I just mentioned, the torn retina, the car crash, the Ugas being hurt by Ugas, like, it's not a coincidence, guys, that he's not the same guy anymore. And he's blowing up in between camps. He's putting on a lot of weight. That was a problem too. I don't know if he's still doing that now. I assume, though, since he hasn't fought in a long time, since the Crawford fight, he's probably is putting on weight now. He's going to have to cut weight again. It's harder when you're older to do that. Ryan Garcia is a young, hungry fighter, only getting better, and he has tremendous power and timing. And Spence's chin is now questionable. In my opinion, it's questionable. Ugas hurt him. Now, obviously Terence Crawford hurt him, and now I do believe that Ryan Garcia has that power to hurt him. And if the fight happens, I'm picking Ryan Garcia by knockout. I'll put it out there right now, guys. I'm picking Ryan by knockout. If Spence proves me wrong, that just shows you what type of fighter Spence is, though, because I am kind of counting him out, guys, because physically he seems like he's damaged, and now mentally he might be as well after that beating by Terence Crawford. But even if he comes back mentally ready, the physical part is why he got destroyed by Terence Crawford, in my opinion. He was damaged goods already going into that fight. I'm not taking anything away from Terence Crawford's performance, but let's be honest, guys. He was damaged goods going into the fight. Obviously, cutting weight, though, is hard for him at 147 as well, so you could throw that in the mix as well. But obviously, if the fight happens at 154, that will definitely help him against Ryan Garcia. That would give him an edge for sure. But from all those factors I listed, guys, I would not be shocked if Ryan Garcia knocked out Errol Spence, especially with that deadly left hook, and put Errol Spence on Bambi legs. The writing's on the wall. It's been consistent now that it's not a one-off anymore. We know Spence he's not having good performances, right? Even though people will call the Ugas fight a good performance, which he did put a beating on Ugas as the fight progressed, but he's showing signs, like he should have not got hurt by Ugas, a light puncher like Ugas. He should have not been in that situation. And that was a red flag for me. And yeah, guys, that's my opinion on it. And I like I said, it seems more than a coincidence that the car crash happens and then he gets a torn retina. It's just something after, like shit keeps on happening, right? And you start to wonder, right? Did the car crash cause all that? And maybe he's just, like I said, age, wear and tear on the body. And if you look at Errol Spence's style, he's like a workhorse in there. He throws a lot of punches and he outworks you and he beats you down until you don't have anything left. He physically beats you down, wears you down. That could be a bad style matchup for him against Ryan Garcia, though, because he's going to give Ryan Garcia opportunities to land counter shots if he's going to throw a lot of punches like he did in most of his fights, like he did against Terence Crawford. Why do you think Terence Crawford was landing so many good timed counters on him and hurting him? Because Errol Spence was there to be hit, because Errol Spence throws a lot of punches, and the more punches you throw, the more opportunities the other fighter has to counter you. So that's just going to really play into Ryan Garcia's gifts with his timing and his left hook and everything. And he has a good right hand as well. So that's going to play into Ryan Garcia's style. And then we have Derek James. Derek James knows Errol Spence. He's going to be giving Ryan Garcia's pointers, of course, because we all know Derek James is now Ryan Garcia's coach. He used to work with Errol Spence his whole career. So he probably knows Errol Spence just as good as Errol Spence does. Better than himself, right? So, I mean, who else would know Errol Spence better than Errol Spence it would be Derek James. So, and that's going to be a huge selling point for this fight, a huge promotion for the fight, because we all know the thing that's going on with Errol Spence and Derek James, the lawsuit, the Derek James is suing him for money that he should have been paid from the Terrence Crawford fight. He feels like he was wrongly done there. He wanted 10% of the total purse, not just of the guaranteed purse, which would equate to millions of dollars instead of only $300,000 or something. But that's a different topic. But you could really sell the fight with that storyline that I'm gonna get back at you for not paying your Derek James the money, right? But for all the factors I just listed, guys, Ryan Garcia has a lot of things going for him into this Errol Spence fight. The only thing he doesn't have going for him is obviously Errol Spence is a bigger guy. If it happens on 154, Errol Spence should have the definite advantage there. Errol Spence is more accomplished at the higher level, even though Ryan Garcia's dominated Haney. Errol Spence has had a lot more higher level fights than Ryan Garcia. But yeah, other than the weight and you could say the experience at the higher level, everything else is going for Ryan Garcia. The youth, I would say even the speed is on Ryan Garcia's side. The power, it's hard to say. I would say Ryan Garcia has a different type of power. Maybe Spence hits maybe like harder, like a different kind. I don't know. I feel like it's different kind of powers. Like, you know what I'm saying, guys? Like Ryan Garcia has a more snapping power. It's quicker. Whereas Errol Spence maybe has a harder thud to the shot. You know what I'm saying, guys? Because he's a heavier guy. But the youth and the hungerness is on Ryan Garcia's side. And you have a lot of things going for Ryan Garcia. So that's my take on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Who would win the fight? Do you want to see the fight? I really want to see this fight. There's a lot going for it. It would sell big time, especially in Texas. But I just see Errol Spence not being a good style matchup for him. I see him walking into a left hook or a right hand, a counter shot, whatever, probably the left hook, and getting knocked out. That's my opinion on it. I know it sounds crazy since Ryan Garcia only had one big win against Devin Haney. He was fighting at 135 only a year ago. But that performance against Devin Haney was pretty impressive. And Errol Spence has been through a lot. And he's not the same guy. So that's my opinion on it, guys. Triple J Boxing. Let me know your thoughts on it and take care.